Today's show is sponsored by Mailtrap, modern email delivery for developers. The complete email API that does everything you need it to do. Try it today at mailtrap.io and get 20% off for all plans with the promo code CLOUDCAST. That's mailtrap.io, mailtrap.io.
Cloudcast Media presents from the massive studios in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is the Cloudcast with Aaron Delp and Brian Gracely, bringing you the best of cloud computing from around the world.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to the Cloudcast. We are coming to you live from the massive Cloudcast studios here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Another weekend perspective as we finish up November. For many folks here in the U.S. that are listening, it's a nice long Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday through today, I guess, for you will. Some of you may have taken a few days off earlier, but hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a good long weekend, and I'm getting this one out a little bit late on a Sunday. Should have gotten this one out much earlier, but sometimes the holiday weekend and all the festivities that go on around that, drag into life. We had the kids home from college, which was great. Good to see them. So I hope everybody's doing well. I am going to, I sort of done this one and recorded parts of it a while ago. Most of the time we do Sunday Perspective, we dig into issues of the day, technologies of the day, all sorts of things along those lines. And today, I think just in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we're going to do a kind of what are we thankful for episode. So just some things that, both thankful for, but also, things in the technology realm that I'm thankful for. I'm glad somebody has invented, or I'm glad that some sort of community or group of folks have decided to build and allow to, be available to people around the world. So we're going to dig into that right after the break. Self-driving cars, delivery drones, and fleets of automated mining machines have moved from headlines to habits, but they can only travel as fast as the tech underneath it. On Interconnected, a new show by Equinix that explores the hidden infrastructure behind our connected future, they shed light on the challenges of scaling safety, where computation happens, and a future where cities are built with autonomy in mind. MIT research scientist Brian Reimer and emerging technology leader Patrina Steele explain how the way we move is changing and where the future will take us. Listen on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Today's show is brought to you by TestCube. Are flaky tests slowing your Kubernetes deployments? TestCube powers continuous, cloud-native testing directly inside your Kubernetes clusters. Seamlessly integrate your existing testing tools, scale effortlessly, and release software faster and safer than ever. Stop chasing bugs in production. Start preventing them with TestCube. Check it out at testcube.io/cloudcast. And we're back. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, I want to dig into some things that we are excited about, thankful for, in the context of Thanksgiving. Hopefully this one works out. This is, I think, the third or fourth time I've been trying to record this one. My computer keeps breaking on me, but fingers crossed. As you all know, sometimes computers break. Maybe my computer was taking a long break from the holiday vacation. So who knows? We'll see. Fingers crossed. That's why this one's getting out sort of late, but apologize for that. Anyways, let's dig into some stuff that we are excited about. I guess first and foremost, excited for health. If I think back a year from today, back a year from a year ago, 2024, I was not happy with my health. Decided to try and do some things. And I know Aaron has been on me for a while to try and get my stuff together, lose some weight, eat better, exercise more. I travel way too much, take on too much stress, too many late nights, too many poor eating. So lost about 25 pounds this year, tried to get my act together a little bit. That is some progress that I am happy about. I don't want to be somebody to tell any of you what to do, but if you are in the tech industry, you are probably too stressed, too much time spent sitting, too much time spent maybe not eating well or being too stressed. Take care of your health. That's kind of all I can say. It will catch up to you, especially as you get older and stress weighs on you and you don't drink enough water or you sit too much or whatever. Your body will not be happy with you. So try and do that a little bit. Anyways, let's talk about some non-technical things that we are excited and happy about. But first and foremost, happy birthday to ChatGPT. It's November 30th of 2025. 3 years ago, you came into the world. You are now a precocious 3-year-old. We suspect that at any given moment, you will maybe get us excited about something. You will disappoint us. You will be uncontrollable, all the sort of things that a 3-year-old might be able to do. But amazing that that little thing 3 years ago now has somewhere like 800 million weekly or monthly users. So pretty amazing. So congratulations, ChatGPT, 3 years old. Okay, let's talk about things that we are excited about or thankful for and from a technology perspective. And I'll kind of run through some things. Some are very simple and some are a little bit more macro. First and foremost, and this is, not a new technology, but something that I deal with every single day, and I'm just happy when I get to use it. Anytime you get a text message, an SMS message, in some cases an email message these days, and it contains some sort of second authentication that you need to do, to second party authentication, or whatever we call it these days. The thing where you have you get a 6-digit code, 8-digit code sent to you to be able to remember your password or something along those lines. I love that there's a little button on the iPhone that just says, "Yep, copy and paste this into the thing." Right? I love people that think in terms of how can I simplify something that will be done millions and millions of times a day. And that's the kind of thinking I get excited about from a technology perspective. So congratulations, whoever at Apple, or I guess if it's an Android feature too, whoever invented that. Good for you. Thank you very much. I am thankful for you or your team or your technology stack. Okay, moving on to maybe things that are a little bit bigger. I am thankful for and excited about the ability in a ChatGPT or a Gemini to do like role playing and brainstorming and scenario planning. I think it's great that literally anybody these days can now have access to, like I say, an expert. We all know that the thing is sort of, just making words up, but it feels like you're dealing with an expert. It feels like somebody who has domain expertise or domain experience, and you can just bounce things off of them. Whether you're saying, "Hey, I want you to play this role. I want you to pretend you are a financial planner and help me do better investments," or you pretend that you are a whoever it is. Maybe you are trying to pitch an idea to a customer. Maybe you are getting in front of an investor because you are an engineer and you want to pitch an idea for a new company. Or maybe you just want to solve a problem and you want to bounce an idea off something or someone who has some experience. You want to do some brainstorming. You want to come up with 10 ideas that could be topics for a keynote presentation or whatever it might be. I like the idea that at any given time in your pocket on your laptop, you have the world now has access to those sorts of tools. And I think, democratizing that and making that available to people is really powerful. So I am excited about that. And I'm thankful that that type of thing exists and didn't exist 3 years ago. I'm excited about tools like Vercel that let non-programmers like myself or people with very limited or not everyday programming skills can just start, acting and talking to the system. And I like this because I feel like it is that type of tool, maybe not necessarily that company or that specific one, but that type of tool is the next big iteration in the concept of PaaS. And so, the idea of PaaS being platform as a service, being, hey, let's abstract away things so that developers aren't burdened with stuff that's not writing code and pushing it into production. And I think this sort of next generation is essentially going to abstract the developing part of it to allow people to just say, I have an idea. I want to solve an idea. I want to bring technology to that potential solving solution. And I think, again, it is a democratization of the ability to bring technology to an idea, a business idea, a whatever idea, and open it up to more than the 25 or 30 or 50 million developers they are. Opens up to potentially literally anybody, and then tools like a Vercel that then host it for you and deal with all sorts of things on the back end. And I realize that somebody will say, well, you can't be sure that that's going to be production quality and so forth, and that's fine, because to me it comes back to what Andy Jassy talked about in the original AWS keynote, AWS reInvent keynote, which was the companies that succeed, whether you are a big company or a little company, are going to, in the new generation, be the ones who can experiment the fastest and come up with the most experiments, try lots of things, do things quickly, fail quickly, move on to the next stuff, break things. And I think these types of tools, the democratization of these types of tools, will unlock another level of people figuring out, how can I do interesting things, solve problems, and bring technology to that in ways that before you needed a developer or you needed a team of developers to do it. And this may just accelerate that to a point where you can show it to people, you can prototype it for people, you can experiment and figure out if you need to get investment for it, or just bringing ideas to light. And I think that stuff is really powerful and exciting, and thankful that kind of stuff is now starting to become mainstream. I am excited and thankful for tools like a NotebookLM, which allow really complicated data science stuff. So tuning models and training models and RAG patterns, retrieval augmented generation types of things, and they just make it really simple for, again, everyday people to be able to go, I would like to kind of make a thing that is smart in a way that I want it to be smart, or perceived to be smart. And I just want to give it a bunch of files, or I want to give it a bunch of whatevers, and it goes off and it does stuff that behind the scenes is probably very, very complex data sciencey stuff and ML ops stuff. But they make it really simple, and they're beginning to make it simpler to share with people and collaborate with people around it. And I think, I think we're going to reach a point where companies or individuals are, much to Brandon Whitchard's, kind of dismay, I think people are going to have literally tens or hundreds of things that will just be smart about something, right? And maybe you'll use it once a year, maybe you use it every day, or somewhere in between. And I think making it really easy to create those things is powerful. And I think people will benefit from, again, the democratization of that sort of stuff. So that sort of stuff, I get excited, and I'm thankful for those sort of things that they exist. The next two things on my list are really more market level things that I'm thankful for the direction they are going. And the first is kind of real true competition in the cloud market. I think for the first time in probably more than a decade, we don't have sort of AWS and the companies that are trying to be like AWS. Right? I think AWS did a fantastic job of setting the market, setting the tone, setting the strategy, the direction, the portfolio for what the cloud market looked like. I think Azure very much chased after what that was. They had some things that they did unique and differentiated, but for the most part, it was, we have AWS and maybe we have Azure. And, you looked at their portfolio of capabilities and it was like, yeah, they look kind of the same. And, granted, they're implemented differently and they have their own pros and cons to them. But, I think for the most part, there was a chase to replicate AWS. And I feel like now, and again, a lot of this is AI driven, but I think other innovations will happen. We are seeing, again, whether it's a Vercel at the PaaS layer, or whether it's neoclouds at the infrastructure layer, or whether it's, just the emergence of Google and Oracle and some other stuff coming along that are disrupting the overall set of capabilities that are called cloud that are available to people. And they are differentiated and they're unique, and they are, in some cases, a subset of something else. But I think it is exciting to see, again, innovation, competition, differentiation happening in a market that for the last 10 years, while it's grown quite a bit, feels like it was very much a let's all just try and be what the leading thing looks like. And I think they've all started to realize that there is lots of room for unique capabilities and differentiation and competition. The second piece is what feels like the beginnings of alternatives to NVIDIA being kind of the de facto only hardware acceleration for AI, right? And again, by no means NVIDIA still is the market leader, has huge market share both in hardware and software, but it feels like we are beginning to see kind of a light at the end of the tunnel of alternative capabilities that are valid in the marketplace, and they can be begin to come out at scale, whether it is something like Grok or AMD or Google TPUs or some of the things that are coming out of like Huawei and some of the Chinese companies. I think if we collectively step back, outside of if you have NVIDIA in your stock portfolio or something along those lines, or you work for NVIDIA, every generation of technology since the mainframe has been dependent upon a robust hardware market that offered lots of choice, could run lots of different types of software, allowed people to have, a wide variety of choice, of scale, of price points, of interoperability. I don't think we're really there yet with an AI perspective, but I think the market is expecting it to get there. And so it's exciting to start to see the beginning glimpses of competition emerging and alternatives emerging in that market. And I think it's both going to be good for the market as a whole, but I think it's also going to be good for NVIDIA. because they've proven themselves to be very capable of differentiating and innovating, and I think they'll continue to do so. And they'll have to figure out how to adapt to the market that for the most part they kind of helped create and develop. Obviously, they are running like crazy because of a ChatGPT. Again, 3 years ago, NVIDIA was worth $400 billion. Now they are worth just shy of $5 trillion, again, because of ChatGPT and other technologies. So, yeah, it's something to be encouraged about. And I'm thankful that we're beginning to see some breaking apart of sort of the duopoly of just OpenAI and just NVIDIA as kind of the stack for generative AI. And the last thing I have on my list, and I'll kind of close the circle on health and so forth being important and be thankful for. I'm excited about sort of the evolution of sort of wearable types of technologies. Again, whether it is wearables for health, things like watches and running things and stuff you can put on your shoes and stuff like Whoop and other stuff that will track everything from your sleep to your calories to your steps to other things that just make the importance of health visible to people and simple to sort of pay attention to and track and be competitive with your friends and so forth. And then individually, like I'm excited about and thankful for, technologies like AirPods, which again, make it simple for you to take listening with you anywhere, and how that's evolved from, better sound quality to noise cancellation when you're on airplanes or you're in a lot of, crowded rooms, to things like language translation, which is starting to happen. So I'm excited and thankful that we are seeing continued evolution in the space for things that are going to bring technology to your actual body and to your health. And because I think while I don't love all of them, I probably won't be wearing any Vision Pros anytime soon and so forth. I think I'm excited that there is still very, very active markets of people trying to figure out a way to blend the physical world and the digital world and the things that we wear on our body, and to make them simpler, to make them lighter, to make them work better. I'm excited and thankful about that as well. So anyways, with that, I want to thank you all. We are thankful for all of you that give us a little bit of your time each week. We know you have lots of choices. We know that we need to continue to deliver you a good quality product and hopefully bring you something of value. So we're thankful to all of you who give us some of your time, who send us feedback. We're thankful to all the guests that come on the show and are willing to share their knowledge with all of you each week. And so with that, I will wrap it up. Again, sorry this was late. It took a few times to record it, but thank you all for listening. Thanks for telling a friend about the show. Thanks for helping us grow the community. And with that, I will wrap it up and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to The Cloudcast. Please visit thecloudcast.net to find more shows, show notes, videos, and everything social media.